A powerful storm unleashing heavy rain on Southern California. The peak of the storm is arriving right now, and with it, the risk for life-threatening debris flow. Good evening. Welcome to Fox 11 News at 5, simulcast on Fox 11 and Fox 11 Plus. I'm Alex Michelson.
And I'm Christine Devine. Right now, intense rain slamming SoCal. We have team coverage. We're live in the Palisades and Eaton fire burn scars.
But we begin with Chief Meteorologist Adam Kruger tracking that thunderstorm warning and where everything's at the moment.
Yeah, it's rather intense out there right now. We have, again, a severe thunderstorm warning, which means not that severe weather is possible. It is occurring right now. A line of storms that could produce 60-mile-per-hour gusts. Here's the wide view. You can see the atmospheric river is lined up right over L.A. right now. So the most intense part of this whole storm that we were concerned about is right over the heart of our area at the moment, working its way from west to east. And areas west towards Ventura County, west of there, the worst of the weather has already passed you, although rain will still continue. This red line, though, is what we're most concerned with. That's where we see the heaviest rain right now. That's where we see the possibility for those strong wind gusts, and flash flood warnings are also posted. Let's start, though, first with the severe thunderstorm warning. It's for this outline, kind of brownish orange color right here. 60-mile-per-hour gusts are possible along the line of storms, which has already passed the western edge of this area. So even though out here you might be under that warning, those strong winds will have passed you already. But it's approaching places like Pasadena and right in the heart of Los Angeles. That's in effect until 5:30. And then this reddish color right here, that is the flash flood warning, because we're seeing rain rates in that area up to or even slightly above 1 inch per hour, which is about double the rain rates we had with the moderate rain we had come through a lot of the area this morning. Just as I was saying that sentence, we have a new flash flood warning that popped up on the right side of your screen right there. I'll have to check on the details on that in a moment, but you get the idea of what's going on here. There we have another one. Literally, this is breaking news as we're talking here. So now there are 4 distinct areas where we have flash flood warnings. This large one was issued first. This was issued over the Eaton fire area, and then again, I'll check the details out here, but it's going to be for pretty much the same story. The rain rates are high. We have that potential for mudslides and debris flows, and I think we're going to see more of these flash flood warning areas pop up on the map before we're done with this event. All right, let me take you in a little bit closer now on radar, and again, this is where the heaviest rain is. See that red line right there? Earlier, this was looking a little more menacing. It was more of a distinct line. It looks like it might be somewhat breaking up again a little bit, which tells us that maybe the intense winds, which were, again, potentially up to 60 miles per hour, those could be backing down a little as that line doesn't look quite as solid, just kind of eyeballing this. But still, that threat is there for some strong winds along this line. And then really, I think the heavy rain is going to be the main threat. And of course, it is just a few minutes after 5 o'clock. Right in the heart of rush hour, or rush hours, you could say, here around L.A., and the worst of this rain is just now moving in. All right, let me back this out and put a storm track on this now. For the leading edge of that line where we're most concerned with the strong winds, this is assuming a forward speed of about 35 miles per hour, so it's going from west to east at 35 miles per hour. And what you're seeing right here with these 4 color segments, each one indicates a 15-minute time frame. So the edge of all this is where that main line would be in about 60 minutes. But here's the 15-minute line, here's the 30-minute line, 45, 60. You get the idea. So that's, again, the pace that it's going to be moving. Should move relatively quickly, which means in the next hour or two, a lot of the L.A. area will see the weather improving. When it had one extra graphic there, but, you know, the flood watch, we have that in effect. That's no surprise. So, again, widespread rain, heavy rain, multiple flash flood warnings because of these rain rates that are over 1 inch per hour. And as I was talking, we had a couple of those pop up. I'm going to investigate the details on those. And, guys, you'll hear from me again soon. We'll head back to you right now.
We'll hear from you a lot tonight, Adam. Thank you so much. Widespread evacuation warning is in place for burn scar areas of Palisades and Franklin fires, Malibu, Topanga, all of Sunset Mesa impacted. Heading east, San Gabriel Foothill residents are also under an evacuation warning because of the Eaton fire. Moderate debris and mud flows are possible. Those warnings lasting through 2 p.m. tomorrow.
Scores of homes, as you know, destroyed in the Pacific Palisades fire. Now all that wildfire debris could add to the mud flow danger caused by the rains. Fox 11's Christy Fajardo joining us live from Pacific Palisades. Christy.
We're actually witnessing what officials have been warning about. Conditions can change very quickly. In fact, take a look here behind me. Palisades Road up there is now impassable, and all of this came down as the rains really started picking up in the last half hour or so. And right now I'm actually standing on what is a bit of an island, because walk with me. We are actually surrounded by water, and that is why officials are telling people to stay home unless they need to venture out. All over the Palisades burn zone, rain brings a new danger. Mud building up so high it pours over K-rails on Palisades Drive. At one point, our truck was between two mud flows that inched closer, while crews scramble to keep the road clear.
We're sort of seeing these compounding effects from the rain plus the soot, and when you combine that together, it's not a great combination.
Michael Fanous lives in the Highlands. His home survived the fire. Now sandbags line the garage to keep the water out. But it's finding other ways in.
The house lost a bunch of tiles from the roof. I guess they weren't super fire resistant, so we're having a ton of leaks here.
Still, he says he's beyond grateful that's his biggest problem, considering so many of his neighbors have lost their homes. Now the rain is threatening to wash away what's left.
Makes it just that much worse, right? It's like people haven't been able to really go assess their homes, go see their homes, and more damage is sort of affecting their homes as it stands right now.
That's why LA City Fire is asking everyone in the burn zone to be ready to leave, warning of possible flash flooding and worse.
We want you to be aware of the concern if you live in an area that was recently burned, and most people are well aware that when the rain comes, there's potential for mudslides.
And even before the worst of the rains, parts of Sunset flooded and mud and rocks tumbled onto PCH. And onto streets in the Palisades people call home. And the water here on Palisades Drive is rising very quickly. We're seeing trees actually floating past us, also traffic cones and other items as well. Now, there is an evacuation order, a mandatory evacuation order for 100 homes in the Palisades burn zone. They're very specific addresses, and officials are not releasing those for security reasons, but they have warned everyone else in the burn area to be ready, I should say, to leave at a moment's notice, and we're seeing why. Live in the Palisades, I'm Christy Fajardo. Listening back to you.
Yeah, right now it's an evacuation warning. Christy Fajardo, thank you. Now to Sierra Madre. That's where Fox 11's Gina Silva standing by. Gina.
Alex, it has been pouring out here. I had an umbrella, and because of the rain and the wind, we're dealing with the wind as well, it broke. It is awful out here. I'll tell you, it's a powerful storm that has the potential to cause serious damage. That is why there are multiple evacuation orders in place. Now, earlier, photojournalist Sam Dubin, he heard this loud, booming sound, a roar. We went out to check it out, and the entire community was in awe of this dramatic sight. Take a look.
It's just an awesome display of the power of nature.
The swollen Pasadena Glen Creek gushes with thick mud and debris.
There was very small flow of water, and then suddenly you get a huge wave.
The ominous roar of gushing water and deep ground vibrations have residents stepping outside to see what's going on.
I've never seen it like this, not since I've been here.
Karen Mortellero isn't taking any chances. She lives on Ranch Top Drive in Upper Hastings Ranch, an area scarred by the Eaton fire, and now under mandatory evacuation.
You know, after having such a traumatic fire evacuation, we don't need another scare, you know. It's just too close, back to back, and it's not worth taking a risk.
After checking on her horses, Karen packs up her family and takes off. A few streets away, Hickson Shen is also leaving the area.
What's your biggest concern?
That we're going to lose the house from mudslides. We were lucky and fortunate that our home is safe, but at the same time, we still have to deal with insurance for the interior of the house, and now we worry about if our house is still going to be here because of the mudslides.
In Sierra Madre, police officers from different departments go door to door telling residents it's time to leave. Back in the Pasadena-Altadena area, Public Information Officer Lisa Dordarian explains the concerns surrounding the burned landscape.
These hillsides are full of toxins, debris, pollutants and contaminants from the fire. So we've done what we can as far as putting up barricades, K-rail to help stop it. Otherwise, it's going to get into the storm system, potentially into some of the surrounding homes.
You have been recorded.
LA County Public Works has installed cameras along the foothills and in the debris basins to monitor the area. There are also crews on the ground
keeping watch.
We have brought in pre-positioned fire personnel that specialize in urban search and rescue. They're patrolling throughout the night because it's a mud and debris flows, more like a silent disaster. You don't hear it coming until it hits.
Wow. That was Gina Silva reporting there. We want to take you now to Orange County. This is happening right now. Evacuation orders in place. The red you see on this map, those are mandatory. That's Trabuco Canyon, Bell Canyon, Hot Springs Canyon. Voluntary evacuation warnings are also in place for Long Canyon, Majesco Canyon as well.
Fox 11 Susan Harrisuna live in Trabuco Canyon. And Susan, we know this area floods all the time.
Yeah, it's not the first time we've been out here, is it? I just want to show you what's going on. This is Trabuco Canyon Road, and this is the bridge that goes over the creek. You see here that it's blocked off. There's no cars or vehicles that are coming in this direction, and you see how the creek is starting to rise. And I should point out that most of the day there was rain, and it was plentiful rain, but it is starting to get heavier still. But while we were out and about looking for people who perhaps were packing cars or getting ready to leave the neighborhood, instead, we found people that were pretty happy about the rain.
The threat of flash flooding. That's what changed an evacuation warning to an order for Trabuco, Bell, and Hot Springs Canyons. The Orange County Fire Authority shared this drone video of the creek in Trabuco Canyon. The bridge over the creek now shut down. The fear is water could rise high enough to flood into surrounding neighborhoods. We met some residents out enjoying the rain and not that interested in evacuation orders.
There's no risk for our house specifically, and I don't think there's going to be much danger in the creek either, but we'll see. But they haven't turned our power off yet, so no reason to go anywhere.
Jared's son sees the positive.
Walking in the rain, it smells better. Splashing in the rain. Yeah.
Jim Cochran is dealing with rain seeping into his garage, but other than that, he's not worried enough to get out.
I wanted to get back from shopping before dark and get some groceries because I don't know if I'll be able to get off the block tomorrow.
For much of the day, there was plenty of rain, but not enough to really worry residents. But the authorities planned ahead.
They want to err on the side of caution, so they do what they have to as long as they don't make us leave.
Yeah, err on the side of caution. Yeah, it's kind of hard to believe when you're looking up creek and you see how far away the banks of the creek are. It's hard to believe that the water could rise so high that it would breach those banks. But that is the fear, and there's also fear that there'd be dangerous debris flow coming from up creek down to this area. Again, you could find your situation a situation where this area is not just blocked off by the authorities, but also affected to the point where the road collapses, bridge collapse. So yes, err on the side of caution. So that's where we are right now. The rain is starting to come down a little heavier. Reporting live in Trabuco Canyon, I'm Susan Harrisuna. Back to you.
Susan, I spent a lot of time in this neighborhood. This seems like one of those neighborhoods where people know the risk, and that's part of the deal of living there, right?
You know, when you talk to the locals, a lot of them will say, look, I know where my house is. My house is up a grade, so we really don't worry about flash flooding. They have, as you can imagine, gone through a lot of the other kinds of evacuation warnings and orders that we have seen in the last few months, including for the airport fire and also for those high winds that we all experienced. So right now, I'm not sure that they would be saying that they have like mandatory warning or orders fatigue per se, but they just are taking their own personal experience. They're considering that very carefully and where their homes are. And again, a lot of the problem is they don't want to be left out. They don't want to get out of the neighborhood. And then if something happens, like a roadway gets blocked, they don't want to be at that point where they can't get back to their homes. So they're just weighing their options. And right now, I think it's a good gamble for them.
Well, as we hear the worst, we're in the middle of it right now or still to come tonight. All right, Susan, thank you so much.